Who y'all recruiting nation? Chief Totemay here. Welcome to episode 23 of Uncharted Waters with the one, the only, the people's champ, the architect of success, Admiral James Waters. So today, we have an incredible guest. No stranger to leading and winning, a pillar in the CRF community, Officer Programs Chief Recruiter, Master Chief William Currie.
Thank you, Chief, for having me. Thank you, sir, for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you here.
I appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Who y'all? So, Master Chief, can you tell us a little bit about your phenomenal Navy journey?
Well, my journey is probably atypical. My parents were educators in my high school and teachers. And what do you do when your parents are teachers? You know, you go to college for a little while and you try that out. I wasn't the best student, didn't take a very good advantage of it. And to be honest with you, at my lowest point, who appeared before me, a Navy recruiter. I was walking a college campus and was trying to figure out how I was going to tell my dad I was going to academic probation for not handling business in college. And end up, a Navy recruiter changed my life right there on my college campus, joined the Navy. And I joined as a hospital corpsman and ended up serving with the Marines the majority of my career on the ground in Afghanistan and Iraq and forward deployed. And second milestone that kind of changed my life, had my daughter, and my priorities changed and came to recruiting and been doing it ever since. So as a recruiter, been to multiple districts, had some great leadership and have had an amazing ride, you know, everything from a DLCPO on up to a chief recruiter. And now I'm on staff duty here working with Admiral Walters.
Yeah, helping to solve the officer recruiting challenges that are before us.
Yes, sir. Some of them are
together.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. With you, yes, sir.
Who y'all? So, Master Chief, scholarship deadline is coming.
It is.
January 31st, 2025.
It is.
How can recruiters across the enterprise do their part to ensure we make this mission?
Well, first, great question, Chief Totemay. First, we have about 4,900 records in NetFocus. NetFocus is the system where people that are interested in the scholarship can ultimately apply. We've got about 4,900, and our goal is about 2,700. So the lion's share of the effort that we need to get over the finish line is already there for us. The challenge that I would have for the recruiters is to get into the schools, you know, get people to get the copies of their transcripts, get their educators to go ahead and finish interview appraisals, and ultimately that final step to get the interviews done.
Yeah, so recruiters really can contribute here in helping to facilitate the work to finish.
Absolutely,
right?
sir.
So we all need to remember that the young people that are applying haven't yet been enculturated into our values, and sort of that self-determination that really is the hallmark of naval service.
Absolutely.
They're not there yet. We're hoping to train them.
Yes, sir.
So they may need a little bit of help to get there. And so this is super cool. And when we talk about scholarships, why don't you talk, Master Chief, just a little bit about what we mean by scholarship? I mean, the recruiters probably know, but just for the general audience, what are we talking about here?
Well, sir, I would probably say as a parent myself, this is probably one of the single biggest things that a student can do to help pave the way for their future. When we mean scholarship, we're talking a fully funded education that can pay for a state-funded school. Most kids, you know, they've got the grades, but the funding of how they're going to pay for their education become most challenging, especially when people are much smarter, you know, people are working hard, you know, parents are preparing their kids to go to school, but the finances becomes a challenge. So on that scholarship, to be able to have a fully paid way to go to school, it pays for everything from tuition to your books.
Yeah.
So it is a big scholarship.
It's participating in the Navy Reserve Officer Training Corps as you go through school in exchange for that fully funded education.
Yes, sir.
Right?
So the student has an obligation that they're completing. Typically, what they're doing is taking an NROTC course at the university. So they are getting, for the lack of better explanation, being able to learn how to be a naval officer while they're in the college setting. Yeah. So you get the perks of kind of getting to learn about the Navy and being a student as well.
Right. And then upon graduation, they're commissioned.
Yes, sir.
Into the Navy.
Yes, sir. They graduate and they, you know, have a career already lined out for them post-graduation from school.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, Master Chief, we have a new option hot off the press, the pre-med option. Can you speak a little bit about this new option?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the pre-medical option is the first year that we've had that option for the scholarship. being in recruiting a long time, you have a lot of students that have the academics or the pedigree, or they've always wanted to be a physician. This is a way that allows for them to do that. So a young person, there's no program that allows for a young high school student to have a fully paid pathway to being a physician. So this is uncharted, territory for anybody.
Uncharted waters. There you go.
So this is very, very new. So right now, the goal is for the Navy to produce or select 40 young students to be physicians for this scholarship. The board, the packages will be due in December. So for Navy recruiting, we really need your help. We've got about 62 kits out of 112. So we're really close to where we need to be, closing that out. And then the board will select those students for this scholarship in January of 2025.
Yeah, and that will pay for a sort of a regular ROTC scholarship undergraduate.
Yes, sir.
And then a follow-on medical school.
Yes, sir.
That's all predicated on getting into medical school, getting into college,
Yes,
those kinds of things. But, the caliber of student that we're talking about, we're anticipating success in those pathways. It's a pretty phenomenal opportunity that we don't really have we don't have any history of looking that far out and resourcing this from somebody that's a high school student.
No,
right?
sir. Typically, you're right, Admiral. Typically, you'll see like the NROTC, you're really, essentially fronting the person a college education, hoping that they'll do well in college, and we'll offer them, to be a pilot. Like the Admiral pointed out, this is the first time we've chartered hoping that this person's going to do good in undergraduate school and then have the academics and the wherewithal to make it through medical school and ultimately to be a physician. So it's basically an 8-year obligation from an academic standpoint, in that you're predicting what a person's going to be 8 years from now. So the Admiral's also correct. It's not happenstance. The people that ultimately get selected for the scholarship, they're top tier students. In general, to qualify for the scholarship, you have to meet the basic requirements for the 4-year option. Plus, you have to have either a 3.5 to 4.0 GPA, a 1300 on the SAT, or you have to have a 28 on the ACT. So the academic standards are pretty rigorous.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, Master Chief, can you speak a little bit about why it's so important for us to find our best and our brightest through our national scholarship, our immediate scholarship reservation, our minority servant institution scholarship reservation, as well as the Navy preparatory scholarship?
Well, Chief, all I can do is go back and listen to when I was a college student. I was lost out there, and I was looking for somebody to find me or tell me about opportunities that were available to me. When I was in high school, there was nobody speaking about NROTC or what could be out there, what the future could look like for William Currie. So first and foremost, for me, that's number one, that a lot of the people we cross on our Navy journey as recruiters, they just want to find a way. What does that future look like for me? And we all know that American dream, you got to go after it, and you got to have some focus to go do it. So that scholarship also, I know in the Admiral's previous job, this is the pathway for the Navy for the future. I mean, this is what's going to man the fleet ultimately and put those young officers in the pipeline for success. So it is a major program. It does open doors for kids that might not have an opportunity. You also mentioned the MSISR, Minority Service and Scholarship. That focus on, different demographics that might traditionally have a way to go to school. So, again, as a kid from Arkansas with no naval presence, that's a viable option for a kid to go to school that might not be hearing about the Navy every day or might not have the background or family, to open the door for all people to have an opportunity to serve and to be an officer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really great.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So I know an applicant will always think why. Why should they select or why should they choose the scholarship? What is it beneficial for them as opposed to the traditional academic scholarship?
Well, I think first, I think all of us that serve the Navy, you have a calling for something bigger than yourself. I think more so what you'll typically find, the people that are applying for the scholarship, want to be a part of a larger group. Maybe that student is having a challenge finding that academic, footing to pay for their school. Again, with this scholarship, it is the best of both worlds for a student to be able to find a way to serve. All of us, I've been in this a long time, and if I hadn't have found my way to that recruiter, what would my life be like? Mm-hmm. For a high school student, I have a 14-year-old daughter, and I'm hoping she considers a scholarship, get some life experience, right, get to campus and see what you like. I usually tell people it's a way to find your way in growing up as well. You know, you're in college, and one of the perks that's really great about that, in addition to it being a funding scholarship, you get a stipend while you're at school to put some money in your pocket too. So freshmen earn about $250 a month, and then seniors all the way up to $400 a month. Might not seem like a lot of money, but if you're a high school college student, eating ramen, yes, sir, that's good money. That's pretty good money. Yeah, $250 was a lot to me when I was a college freshman. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Master Chief, there's a burning question. People always ask, what's the difference between the ISR, which is the immediate scholarship reservation, as opposed to the national scholarship?
Great. The immediate scholarship reservation is an opportunity for our skippers at the end tag to be able to provide that scholarship to a student that excels right there in their local area. So imagine here, we're around Memphis. Imagine we ran into a high school student that met the minimum requirements and had a great background and great grades. That kid could be offered a scholarship on the spot. For us at Navy recruiting and for us enterprise-wide, it's a way for us to get into high schools, to really spread the good stuff that the Navy's doing, and just Navy awareness. Yeah. You were a recruiter once, you know, most often that's our way to get into the schools, to make a pathway for young people to get on to their life. So the skippers out there, again, at ISR is their way. They go into those high schools, offer that scholarship. And we changed the requirements this past year with the Admiral's signature, that another area that we enhanced the program is now you can get the ISR with an ASVAB score. So that's new. Like, so if a kid is not a good performer on the ACT or the SAT, you can still get the scholarship through an 85 ASVAB score. So
yeah,
another
really
great
cool.
That's amazing.
Yes, sir.
That's great.
So, Master Chief, I know we're probably going to have some parents, some educators watch this episode. What message would you give to them about providing this pathway to either their child or their student?
I would say if you have information is power, and whether you're considering a traditional education or another scholarship, this is just something to consider. One thing the Admirals talked about is any of our scholarship programs, they're pretty good deals. I mean, to walk away debt-free, to really have no financial obligations, and even some of these scholarships at various campuses, it could even pay for your room and board, depending on what university you go to. So to think about having a full ride scholarship where you walk away debt-free and have a top-tier education, I mean, sir, I don't think it gets any better than that.
And a job.
And a job.
Right?
And a job.
Not just a job, a career.
A career. The stuff that the scholarship lends itself is you're going to go away and you're going to be able to be an engineer, a nurse, a physician, a pilot, you know, so you're not walking away. You're walking away with a valuable skill set that's going to make you better, whether you're in the Navy or out of the Navy.
Yeah, and I think it's important for everyone listening to understand we are talking and focusing in this episode on the Navy ROTC scholarships and the various forms of scholarship. Navy recruiting recruits officers directly from, college graduate population to go to OCS. This is different than that.
It is different.
Right. So recruiters wear many hats.
Yes, sir.
And one of those hats is to seek students to apply for this scholarship.
Yes, sir.
Some recruiters, some part of their time is to seek college students and college graduates to apply to be an officer via the Officer Candidate School.
Yes, sir.
So if you go to if you gain a ROTC scholarship, and you go to university, participate in the ROTC courses, when you graduate, there's a commissioning associated with it, and you do not go to Officer Candidate School, right? Yes, so that's one of the differences here, right? So it's a 4-year development process in association with your college degree, as opposed to the college graduate that's recruited directly. And we didn't pay for that college.
Yeah.
If we recruit them directly to OCS. In this case, we do.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I think you'll find, too, to your point, sir, a lot of people with the NROTC, they love it because you're not foregoing your college experience. You're still able to rush a fraternity. You're not doing the Navy all day, every day, where the Admiral reference going to OCS and you're leaving your family for 12 weeks and, wearing a uniform and doing some of these things. So you're getting a 4-year test run at if you like it. You're having you have lieutenants on board in naval leadership there that are responsible for developing you, cultivating a spirit of Navy and teamwork, helping you get through your academics. So again, I'm considering for my daughter, and hopefully it's a good deal.
Yeah, it's super important to really kind of think through the various options.
Yes, sir.
So for recruiters, as you're talking to young people, this is an option that people should consider.
Yes, sir.
Because it's an opportunity to get that college education, to move toward a career in the Navy.
Yes, sir.
And it's a darn good deal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Booyah. So, Master Chief, as we prepare to close out episode 23, what is your advice to the enterprise to ensure success for FY25?
Great question, Chief. What I would tell you is many years ago, one of my mentors told me, and this carried me through my career in recruiting, is good things happen when you consider everyone but yourself. If you're out there focusing on your shipmate to your left or right, if you're focusing on the enterprise, if you're focusing on your command, if you're focusing on that sailor you can't see, everybody's looking after somebody and things are going to happen. Try to focus on someone else. I really believe that through and through. And then the Admiral's mantra, I'm not sure if he knows, winners win. Winners find a way to make it happen. Absolutely. Sense of urgency, find a way to do it.
Yeah.
Don't accept no for an answer. There's somebody there. Keep walking till you find somebody that's willing to say yes. Right. So winners win.
Yeah, in a winning organization, people operate as winners.
Yes, sir.
They do the things, even when, if you think about athletic teams, winning teams occasionally lose, right? The Kansas City Chiefs lost to the Buffalo Bills this past week.
Yes, sir.
But they will still practice and drive as a winning team.
Yes, sir.
Right? Because that's the mantra that they carry. And that's the mantra that Navy recruiting carries.
Yes, sir.
Right? Winners win.
Yes, sir. You brought winning back to us, sir. That used to be a CRF thing that, hey, many years ago, I'm sure they told you it's CRF. We used to say that winners win. Find a way on mission day. You can find a way. You can make it happen. So you've definitely brought that spirit back. And if Navy recruiting keeps doing that, we're going to be okay for now and into the future on all our missions.
Yeah, we're running hard.
Running hard, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, you're our Andy Reid. Do not close the remark.
He's a great coach.
Yeah.
He's a great coach. Yeah. Hey, this has been great. Thank you, Master Chief, for joining us here. I really appreciate the work that you're doing with the officer mission writ large, right? Not just the ROTC part of it, but the recruiting to OCS, the recruiting chaplains, the recruiting doctors, nurses. It's a huge part of what we do. And we're on a winning track.
Yes, sir.
And no small part of that is through your effort. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate this.
Yeah. Recruiter Nation, thank you for tuning in to episode 23 of Uncharted Waters with the one, the only, the people's champ, the architect of success, Admiral James Waters. Chief Totome, out.